What's up, brother? How you feeling?
Oh, what's up? What's good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
My brother David, I'm glad you're here.
You can hear me?
You say you can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Let me get my headphones. I can't hear you. Let me put my headphones on. My brother David, I'm glad you're here. Islam is our feeling. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Right. Get this together. I was doing a little running around, man. Get myself ready for the week. Hello? Hello?
You can hear me?
Yes, sir. There we go. As long as I will pin.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, my brother. This is my brother. We have done this before, me and my brother. Man, let's get right into it, man. I just want to introduce my brother. This is a good brother who I met through just social media. I followed the brother on all platforms. So if you're not following this brother on all platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, go subscribe to the brother's channel. This is my brother. You know, we've had phone conversations. We had conversations about, a lot of things. So I just want to introduce my brother, and I'm really not giving him the justice that he's due, because the brother is a historian. The brother is a true leader. You know what I mean? The brother is definitely one who can put you on some correct information, because we know there's a lot of information floating throughout the community, and a lot of it is pseudo. So if you're not following or you're not tapped in with my brother, please make sure that you get tapped in with my brother. And with further ado, this is my brother Haki. Man, brother, how you feeling?
Man, free the land, free the land. I'm feeling good.
Free the land, free the land, free the land.
Good.
Free them all. Stiff resistance. So tell me if this background music with Pac is too loud.
Nah.
It's not too loud? Okay.
It's not too loud.
Okay, brother. So, man, tell us a little bit about what you got going on right now. Let's get into that first. What you got going on right now? Some of your background.
Yeah, like you said, I'm a new African historian. So a lot of my work is in the historian, department of our movement and things of that nature. But a lot of my work is dealing with captured new African political prisoners and prisoners of war. So a lot of my work is focused right now on freeing the rest of these elders. You know what I'm saying? Other movement, Black Panther Party, Republic of New Africa, and several other movements, other Black liberation movements. So a lot of my work, because we're heading into Black August as well. So,
yes, sir.
So it's going to be
and I definitely want you to tap in and speak on Black August, because a lot of people be adding things to Black August that don't got nothing to do with what the original creation of what Black August meant and stand for our people. So I definitely want to tap in on Black August as well.
Correct. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And, we're just getting prepared. Myself getting prepared for Black August and things of that nature, and just going to, push this thing a little harder to get out the rest of the elders that's left in the prison, out of prison. And focusing a little bit more on, building my, New African History channel on my YouTube channel. So that's the two main things that I'm doing right now anyway.
Okay. Man, if it's the permission, if we got the permission to speak, I would just like to proceed with, just a basic just outline of who, because we got to give him we have to, I see people saying his name, but we have to put doctor on the front.
Yes.
of his name. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because he definitely was a doctor, and we
Yeah.
definitely want to send him the greatest or the most fitting respects. You know what I mean? For his contributions. So if you just want to go on in, bro, you can go on in and just and give us, enlighten us on
Yeah.
who Dr. Mutulu Shakur was or is to us, to who he is to the liberation struggle,
Yes.
and who he is to the Black Liberation Army, to the Black Panther Party for self-defense,
Right.
and just who he is for the culture.
Yes, for the culture. Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you said that, you know what I'm saying, about the doctor, you know, because a lot of people tend to like, I don't want to say they try to leave it out on purpose, but I just think it's from a lot of miseducation or diseducation, because we see him such as a high figure when it comes to the revolutionary movement. A lot of people like to tend to leave out the doctor aspect or overlook the doctor aspect. But I'm glad you said that, Dr. Mutulu Shakur. You know what I'm saying? So a little brief outline on who he was. Dr. Mutulu Shakur, first of all, like you said, he was a doctor. He really did his thing in the medical field. For people who do not know that, he was a legit official doctor, and he did a lot of work in the medical field. So we need to make that understood to a lot of people on why he's so important. A little bit about him. He was born August 8th, 1950 in Baltimore, Maryland. He was born to a deaf mother. Not a blind mother, excuse me. He was born to a blind mother who became blind. Um,
What's up,
later on,
brother
he moved.
Kente?
Later on, he later on they would move from Baltimore to Jamaica, Queens, New York City. This is where he was raised at in South Jamaica, Queens, New York. And actually, what really propelled Dr. Mutulu Shakur to get into the struggle for Black people was because of his blind mother. They were having like some issues with social services and getting benefits with the social services people in New York. So that's when he really took off head forward into the struggle for Black people. Was helping his mother get simple benefits because she was blind. And let me remind you, he was like only like 15, 14, 15 years old when he jumped off the porch into the struggle for our people and helping his mother and things of that nature. Um, he would later on, you know, um, become a part of what we know today as the Shakur family. He would later become a part of that family. He was took in under a great figure, a Pan-African freedom fighter, a new African revolutionary that came under Malcolm X, one of Malcolm X's associates by the name of Abba El Hajj Shakur. He would join that family along with Sayyeed and Lumumba Shakur, who was his movement brothers, and um, and took Abba. That was his movement father. So everything that he learned and was learning came from this great man by the name of Abba El Hajj Saladin Shakur. And also another movement father he would come in under is the great revolutionary freedom fighter by the name of Herman Ferguson.
Yes,
If
sir.
people don't if people don't
Yes,
know
sir.
who great Baba Herman Ferguson is, I suggest you write his name down.
Yes, sir.
Him and Saladin Shakur. Write those two names down. Saladin Shakur, Herman Ferguson. Um, these would become his movement fathers. These are his mentors. These are the people that raised him up into the movement. And so he would later on join different struggles in New York City that was going on at that time in New York City, like with the educational system. Along with Herman Ferguson, they would fight against the educational system in New York, trying to get the proper education put in, curriculums put in for our people because it was so racist at that point in time. So that was his first steps in the movement, was going up against the educational system and things of that nature. And he would later on would join as a young brother. You got to remember, Mutulu was young at this time. He probably wasn't even in his early 20s yet when he was doing all this stuff. So by the time he got in his early 20s, he would join what we deem as the forefather movement and forefather organization that many people don't know about is the Revolutionary Action Movement, RAM.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know about RAM. RAM was doing a lot of great work at that time. We deem them as the forefathers of the Black liberation and Black power movement. And their movement was about self-defense, self-determination, land, and revolutionary nationalism and things of that nature. So this is when Mutulu got into the work of becoming a revolutionary nationalist and things of that nature, knowing that as a people we need to be struggling for human rights, land, and things of that nature as a young brother. And this is when he got into his 20s. And you know, during the 1960s, there was turmoil and things of that nature. He would join the provisional government of the Republic of New Africa as a minister of defense. This is after the Revolutionary Action Movement. As a young brother, he was the minister of defense of the Republic of New Africa of New York chapter at that point in time in his early 20s. And the most important work, let's just get to that. The most important work that he would come into would be the medical field.
Mm-hmm.
And what sparked him to join the medical field was at that point in time, you got to realize this was the late 1960s going into the 70s and things like that. The heroin epidemic came into play. And the heroin was ravaging New York City at that point in time. So many of our people got addicted to heroin and cocaine and things of that nature. And the Black Panther Party, and this goes into his work a little bit with the Black Panther Party. The Black Panther Party was already taking a key stance against drugs in the community at that point in time. Like they would put pressure on drug dealers and people who were bringing drugs into the community. They would actually take the drugs from the drug dealers, pour it out into the sewers and destroy the drugs and make sure they didn't reach the Black community. So this also heavily influenced Mutulu to get into that type of work when it comes to, like, you know, drug addiction, the drug war, because people got to realize at that point in time, the drug war was just getting started on our people, like, and it was ravaging the community of New York City. I think New
Mm-hmm.
York City was like the highest place of concentrated drug addicts at that point in time. So
Mm-hmm.
during that period of time, this is when he got into that medical field of trying to figure out what's the solution to get our people off of drugs, to get Black and brown people off of drugs at that point in time. So what sparked his mind was he met a sister, and a sister. We call her a sister because we took her in as a sister in the movement. But she was a Japanese woman, an Asian woman by the
Mm-hmm.
name of Yuri Yokohama. Yoki, I be getting her name wrong. Yochiyama. Yeah,
Yokiyama.
Yuri Yochiyama.
Mm-hmm.
And when he met this sister, this was a sister who was a part of Malcolm X movement at that point in time,
Mm-hmm.
and she put him on to the Eastern medicine practices of acupuncture.
Acupuncture.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
acupuncture. So it sparked. So Mutulu took interest in that. Like, oh wow, what is this medicine? What does it do for people? And she explained it to him, and it caught his attention because also during that period of time, once he started to learn about the science of acupuncture, an incident took place where two of his sons was in a car accident, and they suffered like some brain damage and things of that nature, some brain damage to his two sons. So he got into the practice of acupuncture, and his sons were some of the first individuals that he tested acupuncture on to see if it actually worked. And it
Mm-hmm.
worked for his
Right.
sons. It took the pain away. It helped fix their brain function and things of that nature. And it helped his sons out, you know what I'm saying, a lot. So that really made him like, oh, whoa, I think I done stumbled upon something that can help our people. So
Mm-hmm.
this is when he, met a couple of people, influential people that was in the acupuncture field at that point in time, and he went to Canada to seek out more practice of acupuncture, and then he would later on, go to China so he could learn the complete basis of acupuncture and the proper techniques and the proper work of acupuncture, and that's when he got his degree, his medical degree in acupuncture. So I'm gonna just let people catch up on that part.
Okay, so I'm glad you were speaking on acupuncture. A lot of us don't even understand what acupuncture is, so I had to go and look up acupuncture. And this
Right.
is what acupuncture does for your body. Acupuncture involves the insertion of very thin needles through your skin at strategic points on your body. So
Yes.
if you notice, you got strategic points on your body that the ancient Chinese or the ancient people know how to heal your body. So
Yes.
it says a key component of traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture is most commonly used to treat pain,
Yes.
right? Increasingly, it is being used for overall wellness, including stress management, right?
Yes.
So I was just thinking about Dr. Mutulu Shakur practicing acupuncture in New York at that time
Yes.
of a drug problem, and then thinking about the drug problem with this fentanyl and all of these new drugs that they coming out now, will we be able to transfer that information that he used then with
Yes.
the acupuncture today and help our people get off of these drugs, help our people to balance their stress, and
Yes.
kind of help our people kind of balance our whole well-being.
Right. Exactly. And that's why his work is so important, even though he has transitioned, but he has left behind with us the instructions, the work on what the solution is to the drug epidemic and what we call a drug war. Let's be honest.
Yes,
It's
sir.
really
Let's
a
keep it like
war.
what it
It's
is.
really,
Yes, sir.
yeah, because a lot of people like to sugarcoat it. This is actually a war on impoverished people, but specifically New African Black people in Chicano brown communities. This is a war, but specifically I'm gonna keep it. This is
Yes,
a
sir.
war on the Black community. You know what I'm saying? And we need to put that in the proper context.
Yes, sir.
That drugs is a tool and an instrument in the war on genocide on our people.
Mm-hmm.
So he left behind the tools and the instructions and the medicine. Liberation medicine is what we call it. It's
Mm-hmm.
liberation medicine that will help. And it's a proven fact that acupuncture actually cures drug addiction. This,
Mm-hmm.
and let me rewind and go back. During this period of time, we got to understand how we got to this point and why he was in prison and why the FBI and COINTELPRO and this government didn't like him and didn't want him on the streets and the reason why they took him out of the community. I'm going to get to that point because this is the most important part on why we should uplift this man is that his sacrifice and what he was up against when he brought this acupuncture tool to our community to liberate drug addicts is this during the late 1960s and going into the 1970s, because I got to put this in the proper context.
Yes,
Going
sir.
into the late 1960s, going into the 1970s is the heroin epidemic. By going into that period in time, um, around this time, the Young Lords Party,
Yes,
Panther Party,
sir. Yes, sir.
the Republic of New Africa, allied and got together, but it was led by the young, because I got to give these people their props too, the comrades and allies of the Young Lords Party. And if y'all don't know who the Young Lords Party is, please write that name down too, because they're significant to Dr. Mutulu Shakur's struggle as well as his comrades. The Young Lords Party was a Puerto Rican political organization and a revolutionary nationalist organization that sprung up in New York City during that period of time of
Mm-hmm.
the Black Panther Party. And the Young Lords was a street organization at first. They were a street gang at first, but they transformed themselves into a political organization when they realized that, once they got involved into the nationalist movement, they transformed themselves into a revolutionary organization. And so the Young Lords Party, this is a significant date, November 1970. The Young Lords Party, Panther Party, citizens and allies of the Republic of New Africa infiltrated at that point in time was the biggest hospital in New York City with a drug program at that time, which was the Lincoln Hospital. It was
Mm-hmm.
called a Lincoln Hospital at first before it got to the Lincoln Detox Center. It was called a Lincoln Hospital, and this was the biggest hospital in New York City, but it was the most uh, inhumane and discriminative hospital in New York City because they treated black and brown people poorly when it came to health and getting the proper health for people in the black and brown community at that point in time. So the Young Lords Party got fed up. Oh no, we got to do something about this. So the Young Lords, the Black Panthers, the Republic of New Africa, they took over the Lincoln Hospital. They infiltrated it, went into the hospital, took it over, and at that point in time, this was never done before. So you got to realize how shocking this was to the New York community. Like these organizations just rushed the hospital and took over the hospital and took over the drug program.
So just keeping that in perspective, bro, and looking at the heart, the tenacity, and the boldness of these young people. These young people were 15,
Yes,
16, 17, 18 years old. Let's keep that in mind. And we're going to tie that into why your 16, 15, 16 to 17-year-old is on video games right now. You know what I mean?
bingo,
That
bingo.
why your 15 and 16-year-old is on video games worrying about everything else. These young people were in tune with what was going on in their
Yes,
communities, and they was ready to sacrifice themselves
yes,
so that something could be done about it. So I just want to throw that in
exactly.
there.
No, I'm glad you said that. Very important key point. These individuals were teenagers.
They
You
were
know what I'm saying?
teenagers.
They could have been out in the streets doing you know what at that
Yep.
point in time. But these courageous young teenagers and young people took it
Our
into
brother Bumani.
it didn't even think about it. There was no thought to it. They practical. You know what I'm saying? This is what we mean
Yes,
by
sir.
being practical. So you can talk all day. You know what I'm saying? Come up with solutions all day, which is good. Don't get me wrong. We gotta talk about solutions. We gotta talk about these type of things. That's important. It's the practical action aspect that you have to pay attention to these young teenagers who said, F this, we ain't getting the proper medical treatment in our community and healthcare. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We're gonna do something about it. So that year, 1970, they did something about it. And at that point in time, when they infiltrated it, you got to remember, Mutulu was already employed by the Lincoln Hospital to work within the drug detox program that they had set up and established at that time in the early 1970s. They had already hired him, and he was under the guidance and working with a guy, and he was a European. He was working with this European at the time by the name of Richard Tabb, and
Mhm.
he was one of the first to try to revolutionize the drug detox program in the Lincoln Hospital at that point in time. So when they took over the hospital, they they chose Mutulu and Richard Taft to lead the program because they was the best individuals that could do it. And that's when they implemented acupuncture. That's when they brought the acupuncture into the drug detox program at that point in time in Lincoln Hospital. Then they changed the name to the Lincoln Detox Center. This is where that
Mhm.
name comes. And people need to write that down because this hospital became a sanctuary for revolutionaries. And one of the most important things and the aspects that they brought to the detox program was political education. They didn't just bring the medicine aspect or the acupuncture aspect. At the same time, that when they started treating these heroin addicts and these drug addicts, they implemented a political education program. So at the same time, they could teach these addicts on why you're on drugs,
Right.
why these drugs are in the community. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, bro, but I think we also need to understand and know that just because you may see our people either, because there's two sides to this drug coin.
Yes,
One side is the user.
yes,
It's a reason why I'm using drugs, why
right.
it's so available in my community now.
Community.
And then on the flip side of that, why, as a young black male, why do I deem it necessary or plausible for me to even use drugs as a platform for me to get out of
Right.
oppression? So we got to make sure that we understand that drugs is not just some happenstance that it just fell in your community by
Yes.
accident. And you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't just like um something that just happening to us. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
something random
something
that just happened to the black
random
community.
that is just happening
Because
to
we
us.
got to always keep this in proper context. Everything is political.
Everything.
Whether you don't like politics, you ain't gotta like politics. You know what I'm saying? I get why people don't like politics. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the same time, you gotta understand that everything that goes on is political. I'm talking about globally. Everything is political, and especially what's going on in your community. Everything is political. So that's why that aspect of Mutulu and these other revolutionaries implemented political education along with the cure, the solution, the medicine, which was acupuncture, so they could combine the two. So when these addicts leave this clinic or this detox center, they got a different focus on life. Or like, now I know why I was on the drugs. I know why I was using the drugs. Now when I get out this program, I can help others get off these drugs, and I can be a beneficial human being to my community, a productive, you know what I'm saying, person to my community to help others get out of drugs, off drugs. And people got to realize this is, like I said, this period of time, we got to understand. This was the period of time of the Rockefeller laws. People don't know what the Rockefeller laws. Now I'm really about to go in on why they really hated Mutulu and why they wanted to kill this man and why he was incarcerated for real, and you know, and things of that nature. Is this aspect right here of the history of the struggle. Y'all got to remember, in New York City at this point in time, it was these laws called the Rockefeller laws that was implemented in New York City, where if you were selling heroin, cocaine, or if you was an addict, you got caught with any of these drugs, no matter if you was the seller or the user, they gave you a mandatory sentence of 15 years to life or 25 to life if you got caught with any of these drugs. Or in the key part of it, like you said earlier, the addict part is where the you know, where the corruption comes in and where the criminality comes in at to a severe level, Because how can you criminalize an addict, a user? You see what I'm saying? And by them doing that, so many people that were addicted to heroin, who never sold drugs, harsh sentences. I mean, getting sentenced to 15 to life, 25 to life. I'm talking about this is where the real corruption in the criminal justice system comes from. Go ahead.
So when you try to just think about this, when they catch an addict, somebody who clearly has a problem, right?
Clearly.
And you tell him you're not getting out unless you give us some names. This is how they turn our people against each other. This is
Yep.
how they use our own people to point out the other one. Hey, yeah, he the
Yes.
one sold it to me. He the one
Yes.
sold it to me. So we gotta, man, listen, we being played, family. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? We
It's
being played
crazy.
all the way around the board. When you sit back and you honestly like think about it without the emotional part to it, just think and
No.
just look and just say,
Yeah.
yo, they playing us
Being played.
because they
Being
put the drugs there, lock us up for the drugs.
yes.
First they put us on the drugs, lock us up for the drugs, and then they make us telling each other about some drugs that they already know is there.
Bingo, bingo, bingo. And that's why we say in the movement, that's why I said, like, this government is very easy to figure out because it's just chess. That's all. It's just a game of chess. You know what I'm saying? People try to make it difficult and harder than what it is to try to understand our oppression. All you got to do is understand how chess is played. And this is why chess is a big game in New York City. This is why it's a high culture. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's highly praised in New York City when it comes to playing chess. In New York, this struggle is about chess. You see what I'm saying? And that's what they did against the Black Liberation Movement and our revolutionaries, our leaders, our community, and things of that nature. And getting back into it, and like you said, we are establishing why this is the way it is and what they're doing, the game that they're playing on us. At the same time, like you said, when they were locking these addicts up under the Rockefeller laws, they were using these addicts and transforming them into informants, snitches, agents, and things of that nature. So when a lot of those addicts used to get out of prison or let out early, because you know most of them never did the whole 15 years, the ones that turned into agents and stuff like that. They didn't do the whole 15 years. So they had use for them. So a lot of those cats that got out, they infiltrated the Black Panther Party. They infiltrated the Black Liberation Army. They infiltrated the Republic of New Africa. They infiltrated the Young Lords Party. They infiltrated these black and brown organizations. They used drug addicts against the movement. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't realize that's how deep they go down the rabbit hole. That a lot of those agents were addicts. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them went back to using drugs and using those and was getting paid that way from the police. Oh, I give you some heroin, I give you some crack, I give you some cocaine. Infiltrate the Black Panther Party. You know what I'm saying? Set this individual up. So that's how a lot of Black Panthers got locked up in the first place, because people were planting drugs on them, trying to make it look like they were selling drugs, making it look like they was drug addicts and all these type of things. You know what I'm saying? So it's a deep rabbit hole. But to continue off from the Rockefeller laws with Mutulu is this. The Rockefeller laws, we know about the Rockefeller laws, but this is the most important part. Time of the Rockefeller laws and the mayor of New York City at that point in time, I can't think of his name right now, but it was a senator and the mayor. They tried to come up with a solution to the drug problem of their own. And check out how deep this go down the white supremacist rabbit hole. They tried to find a solution for the drug epidemic, because like you said, at that point in time, New York City was the biggest epidemic of drug addiction in the world at that point in time. Everybody in New York was on drugs at that point in time. The ghettos were hell when it came to drug addiction in New York City. So one of those quote unquote so-called solutions that they tried to come up with was methadone. So check this out. If y'all don't write that word down, methadone was their so-called solution to the drug addiction in New York City. Now, where did methadone come from? And this is something that I want to teach people, because a lot of people don't know. And this is what Mutulu was exposed. This is what Mutulu was ahead of his time, man. Like, where did methadone come from? How many people know that methadone came from Hitler? Adolf Hitler and his laboratory and his scientists created methadone in 1939, around at the time of World War II was about to begin. And you got to remember, this is long before the Vietnam War. This was around the time of World War II. So him and his scientists created methadone. And methadone was nothing but another opioid. It ain't nothing but an opioid.
Another drug that you can get hooked addicted to.
To get addicted to. This is how evil they are. Like they was like, we're gonna find another opioid to put them on, but we're gonna disguise it as a solution, as a cure to your addiction. But at the same time, they're hooking you back on another opioid, so you won't never be liberated of opioids. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how sick they were at that point in time.
And they control you with the methadone.
Controlled you with methadone is nothing but another instrument, the most important instrument of controlling the people and controlling. But what makes it insane is the fact that people need to pay attention. They got methadone from the Nazis, from the Nazis. See, people don't even realize America, the biggest white supremacist influence on the Nazi movement at that point in time, and Nazism, period. Because a lot of people don't even realize, for that methadone, Hitler and them, they got their what they call it, the let me think about what it is. At that point in time, when they was doing like the scientist test, when they was testing syphilis on the people down there in the South, when they was doing the syphilis program on them, this is where Hitler and them got their genetics program from to use on the Jews. They got that from America in exchange for the methadone. So it was kind of like an exchange. America gave them the program how to work that type of scientific genetics to kill people. You know what I'm saying? To knock people off through genetics and experiments and things. They gave that program to Hitler and them and the Nazis. The Nazis gave them methadone. So this time, Mutulu was figuring all that out. You know what I'm saying? And connecting it on a global scale of how political this is. Like, this is a political war on our people. So when Mutulu figured that out, like, oh, they're trying to put us on methadone to keep us controlled and to
What's
keep
up,
us
homie?
addicted. So Mutulu and them was like, oh no, methadone gotta go. We're not using that on our people. No, like that's not gonna happen. So get to like 1978, this is what Mutulu and them was doing. Mutulu and them was using acupuncture and throwing the methadone away, throwing the methadone out. And over this period of time, I say like from like 1970, and this was the time of the Black Liberation Army. This is when Mutulu was with the Black Liberation Army. Around this time, man, from like 1970 to like the early 1980s, man, they cured damn near 1,000 to 2,000 drug addicts. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Over a period of time, which was phenomenal without the use of methadone. And so the New York City political government and the power structure of New York City and the big pharma, big
You know,
pharmaceuticals,
big pharmaceuticals.
big pharma. And if y'all don't know who
They,
this is, Eli Lilly, right now, Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly is the big pharmaceutical company of America. This is like the giant of the pharmaceutical world. Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly was the company that was supplying methadone. You know what I'm saying?
So there's your connection.
There's your connection. Yeah, look what you got.
That finance.
The finance. Look what you got. You got the Rockefellers, one of the richest families in the world. They got the Rockefeller laws. Eli Lilly, Big Pharma. You know what I'm saying? Big Pharma. They the ones supplying the methadone and stuff like that. So I want people to realize this. Big Pharma is no different than them individuals that were selling our people heroin. It's the
Same thing.
Same thing.
Only thing is, Eli Lilly's purpose of selling it to us is different. They know that know that you're going to be addicted to this.
Yes.
They know for a fact
quote,
that they
unquote,
will be.
Quote, they was doing it the legal way.
Right. But they know that you're going to be addicted to it, though. I remember coming up. As a young kid, and there used to be this I guess a drug treatment center in my community called Dwayne Dean, and they were using methadone as a way to get our people off of heroin. But the whole time, the people were getting addicted to the methadone. I can't sleep at night. I'm having these stomach pains, and I'm illing. You know what I'm saying? We call it, we dope illing. We sick. And then they give you some methadone to kind of calm you down, but it don't take away the craving for the drug. So now I got another craving.
Yes, it don't take the addiction away at all. And Mutulu and them just seen that shit as it was a major contradiction. You know what I'm saying? To what y'all so-called call democracy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all trying to help y'all citizens. Y'all trying to help black people. Y'all trying to help brown people. That shit was a major contradiction. And it was deemed what Mutulu used to teach us is like, this is what you deem the difference between high and low intensity warfare, because this is intensity warfare.
Facts.
But mainly dealing with the drug epidemic and dealing with shit like methadone, that shit was low intensity warfare, because this is shit that they're doing in disguise. They disguising it better. Yeah, I'm helping you, but they really ain't helping you. You know what I'm saying? They just controlling you. You see what I'm saying? And so when Mutulu was pointing this out and teaching these type of things, coincidentally in 1978, the feds, the New York PD, raided the Lincoln Detox Hospital and arrested the young lords, arrested some of the Black Panthers, kicked them out the hospital, took the hospital back, and destroyed the detox program.
So you got to ask yourself, right? If there's no illegal activity, quote unquote illegal activity going on in this detox center, and it's only there helping people to rid themselves of something that they shouldn't have in their system in the first place, why would the FBI, the CIA, the local police, and all this federal gang members because they are the
That's all
original
they are.
gang members.
Yeah.
Why would they gang up on this detox center, arrest people, and throw people out?
And throw them out and destroy the whole detox
Destroyed it
program. It
when it
wasn't
was
no more.
helping people.
It was helping people because they say, look, they seen how what they deem as inferior indigenous medicine was helping these people get cured, and they was like, oh hell no, we can't have this. Like, how are they doing this with acupuncture? How they're doing this with Chinese medicine or what they deem as Eastern medicine? Because this is what the Western world they call it Eastern medicine, which they see as an inferior solution,
Right.
not a superior. They see it as inferior because you know how they look at indigenous culture. They don't want you practicing indigenous culture in America.
But they gonna
want
give you, but they gonna give you a pill or something that's gonna hurt something else in your body.
Yeah, so they want to make it like our medicine, which is the poison. Our medicine, which is the poison, is the correct medicine to help our people of America. That just show you how
low intensity warfare.
Low intensity warfare. I'm telling you, this is the biggest lesson I learned from Mutulu. This is why.
Hold on, let me write that down.
Man, this is why I see the world so different, man. Because when he taught us that, when he put us onto the theory of high and low intensity warfare, man, I've never seen the world the way it was ever again. Because now it made me see like, woo, oh, this how they coming at us. Wow, it's coming at us like that, Doc. And Doc used to laugh. He used to be like, man, I'm telling you, when I figured this shit out, man, it's like, man, it's gonna blow your mind. Like it's right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So after they kicked him out, the Lincoln Detox Hospital, you think Mutulu was a quitter? Hell no. He's not no quitter. So 2 years later, 1980, shit, he opened up his own detox center right in Harlem and created the new organization, which is called Banner, the Black Acupuncture Association of America. And he was, they was putting in work at that point in time from like the late 1970s to like the early 1980s, curing thousands of drug addicts. And let me remind you, this was the first Black acupuncture clinic in America. You see what I'm saying? And this is why we deem Dr. Mutulu Shakur as basically the first Black doctor acupuncturist.
So put some respect on his name.
Along with one of our other elder sisters, Dr. Sayyeed Kinsey of New York City. She was the first Black woman to get licensed as an acupuncture in New York City. So, man, I'm telling you, got to put some respect on these individuals' names. And at the end of the day, this is how they became subject to the COINTEL program and the attacks of the counterintelligence program. Once he opened, you got to remember, this is a Black-owned and Black-ran acupuncture clinic at that point in time.
Non-governmental funded.
Non-governmental funding in the middle of one of the blackest neighborhoods in America, Harlem. You know what I'm saying? Where the heroin epidemic was the worst in Harlem, New York City.
Right.
Because around that time, you got to remember, that's when people like, celebrities to regular citizens was hooked on heroin, and they used to go to Harlem
to find it.
You know what I'm saying? So for him to put that clinic in the middle of what we call at that time epidemic of heroin addiction, that's revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to put some respect on that. You know what I'm saying? Put some respect on his name. And all those things, a combination of him exposing Big Pharma, him getting people off of drugs, so less people was not falling to the victimization and the criminality of the Rockefeller laws. He was keeping people out of jail, keeping people out of prison. Man, just think about the reverse science that he did with that to go against the system, to go against the government. They was like, nah, we ain't having this. You know what I'm saying? Like, J. Edgar Hoover was like, no, we not having this. We not having this at all. So that's when the COINTELPRO and their criminal terrorist criminality act started to attack Mutulu on them using low intensity warfare, trying to set them up, trying to get them addicted to drugs, trying to make them turn on each other and things of that nature. And let me just throw this in here because it's a part of his life. It's a part of his struggle. During that period of time, the liberation movements No matter if you was black, brown, white, whatever you was doing at that point in time. The liberation movements at that time, but specifically the black liberation movement at that time. We're living in a capitalist society, right? So we need funding to fund programs, to fund our movement. Because we can't get these things done because we're living under America. We're living under capitalism. Doesn't mean you have to be a capitalist, but we need funding to do our stuff on our own. So yes, at this point in time is when the Black Liberation Army and some of the white anti-imperialists, you know what I'm saying, comrades, started to implement their funding through what we call appropriation.
Appropriation.
We don't use the word robbery.
No, sir.
We don't
No,
use the
sir.
word rob. Because what are we robbing? Robbing. Not robbing. You know what I'm saying? No, we're taking back what you already owe us. So as black people, Mutulu and all them, we're looking at it as we're taking some of our reparations out of our bank, out of our money. So we're taking some of our reparations back. So they didn't, you know, they quickly came up with the terminology, the revolutionary terminology. Like, this is appropriation. You know what I'm saying? This is not, because we're not doing a criminal act. This is what people got to understand. Oppression, brutal genocide that the government was putting on our people at this time, anything we did to them was not criminal. Let's just go ahead and put that out there. Especially when you're being attacked, you're being killed, you're being murdered, you're being put on drugs, you're living in impoverished conditions, inhumane conditions. So the whole lens of why we got to look at this as war. People got to look at all this shit through a war lens. This is warfare. The moment they took those ancestors out of Africa was an act of war. You see what I'm saying? So anything we do as revolutionaries, it's not a criminal act.
So I'm glad you bringing this up, brother, because a lot of our people have become so comfortable because we can wear Apple watches, because we can be on these cell phones, because we can wear Gucci, because we can do all of the things that quote unquote the people that have money can do.
Yes.
We think that the aspect of war is finished or it's over or it's a thing of the past. Is back then. Family, we are still under the same conditions. Just because they might have slid in some more low intensity warfare on you does not mean that you are not being warred against. Exactly. Even though you're not participating, even though you're waving the white flag and you're saying I ain't got nothing to do with them niggas over there, you still being warred against. So please don't get it confused because you had a black president, because you may have a black person in office, because you may have access, you got a couple black billionaires, Jay-Z and all that. Don't get it confused, family, that you are not being warred against. Please don't get it confused, because this is how they keep tricking us, and they keep making us be complicit to our own extermination, because we think that everything is okay. It's not okay, family.
It's not
okay, family.
And I'm glad you brought that point up, because you got so many black people, or so many people who come to America, or who was born and raised in America, who identify themselves as, they think identifying themselves as American, they are excluded from that war being taken out on them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That this is where you get the bougie Negroes from, and the bourgeois Negroes from, in the bourgeoisie society of black people are the people who see themselves as American. So, oh no, I'm excluded from any war. What war? Y'all people crazy.
So what did Malcolm say? Just because a cat has babies in the oven don't make those biscuits. Just because you was born here as quote unquote born in America don't mean that you are being actively participant of the American dream or American society. That does not mean that, family. Why in 2023 are we still having to fight, march, and scream and do all of this about the same things that our forefathers were back then? Why are we still fighting for it if we are equal?
Right.
You know?
Exactly. So where's the equality in that?
Where's the equality at? We're still fighting for the same thing.
To this day, like homeboy said, till this day, you got to think about it. Like, you know what I mean? You still not. There's no inclusion. You're not included. Just because you say you're American, or I'm black, African American, or I'm American, and things of this nature, where's the inclusion? Where's the equality? You're still being treated as second-class citizens. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we still, the crazy thing about it, family, is the fact that we're still facing the same thing that they faced then. That Mutulu and
Right.
all of them faced. It's the same warfare. It ain't changed. It evolved to a certain degree because we, you know, as they quote unquote, all this new technology, like you said, all this new, you know, people getting, you know, coming into wealth and all these type of things. Capitalism doesn't give a fuck about that. You see what I'm saying?
Not one bit.
Especially when you got the people who implemented this system called capitalism on us. They don't care how much you get or how wealthy you get, as long as they can still use capitalism and use low intensity warfare to control you. None of that matters, because they
Right.
still, like you said, they're still warring on us. You see what I'm saying? So back
And
to
now
that part.
they're helping using us against each other. That's why
Yeah,
they
yeah,
blame it.
that's all
They
it is.
blame it
Yeah,
on the rappers.
yeah, it's
Blame it
just a,
on them. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to identify and say and blame the rapper,
yeah,
but not the person who created the condition for the rapper to even be rapping about. We
yeah,
don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about what the rappers are doing.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like what Malcolm said, bamboozle. It's a science of
Bamboozle,
being
hoodwink.
bamboozled. You see what
Yes,
I'm
sir.
saying? You're being hoodwinked. You know what I'm saying? And that's what colonialism do. That's the whole purpose of colonialism, is to hoodwink you, bamboozle you, and to keep you controlled and keep you seeing the world through a reality that's not official. You say it's basically artificial. Like with all this artificial intelligence, it's like you're not seeing the true reality because they done bamboozled you and they done hoodwinked you and tricked you into seeing the world through their view, their worldview, their lens. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they control you. That's how they keep you enslaved mentally. People got to understand, slavery is the biggest enslavement ever to human nature and human existence. It's your mind being enslaved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So back to the appropriation. So the, the movement needed to be funded. So the ways of funding it was through appropriations. And so, yeah, Mutulu and them did that. Yeah, they committed appropriations and things and that. Not saying he did, but I'm saying people in the movement
Around that.
around that circle and that, they were committing appropriations allegedly, because I always got to use that term allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, they were doing appropriations. You see what I'm saying, to fund their
And
movement.
for
So
you don't hold on, bro. And for you who don't know what appropriations mean, brother, please explain what that means.
appropriations is basically saying that I'm taking something from you and I'm doing it, you know what I'm saying, with my self permission to take it.
So in
Basically.
layman's terms, basically is we running in these motherfucking banks and we taking that shit.
Period.
It's ours
And
anyway.
it's ours anyway. And that's the key point y'all gotta get. It's ours
Allegedly.
allegedly, but it's ours
Anyway.
anyway. That's what appropriations is. It's ours anyway. And we taking that shit. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, they did that. The Black Liberation Army did that. The white allies, anti-imperialists, that helped them. Yeah, they did that allegedly. You see what I'm saying? So while this was going on, J. Edgar Hoover and them figured out ways on how they could set up the individuals that they targeted. So when Mutulu became a subject of targeting, because Big Pharma wasn't having it, the Rockefellers wasn't having it, the New York City government wasn't having it. Like, no, we got to do something about Dr. Mutulu Shakur. And so they started to attack him and target him through low intensity warfare. So one of those, we're going to go back a little bit of what we said earlier. One of those ways of getting Dr. Mutulu Shakur the way they wanted to get him was
Snitches.
using one of those snitches, you know what I'm saying? One of those snitches that probably was on drugs.
That
Matter
he
of fact,
helped.
he was. Matter of fact, he was. I ain't really want to put it out there, but he was the individual that set him up and pointed him out and tried to implement him in one of the biggest appropriations in history that caused the lives of 2 New York police officers, because this is the case that took Mutulu down, was the appropriation of the biggest appropriation in New York City history at that point in time, was the robbery that happened in New York City where over $1.5 million was appropriated. You know what I'm saying? So they used this informant who was a drug addict. He was a former drug addict. The man didn't even know Mutulu. That's how deep it is. That's how savage and how hard they tried to take him down. That they used an informant and a snitch who didn't even know him. You know what I'm saying? At all, period. You know what I'm saying? And around this point in time, this is when the RICO started to
Right.
come into play. The RICO, how they use the RICO on people. The feds use the RICO. So they implemented, the snitch implemented Mutulu in one of the biggest heist appropriations in New York City history. So Mutulu went on a run for a couple of years. 1986, he was captured in LA, put on trial, one of the biggest trials in New York City history. The snitch got on the stand, pointed Mutulu out, said he was there. No evidence ever proved that he was there. No witnesses. I'm talking about real witnesses. There were no real witnesses who were there. Never said Mutulu was there. Never said Mutulu was a part of the plan. Never mentioned Mutulu was, you know what I'm saying, present of the crime. So they never had no evidence that he did the crime or he masterminded. You see what I'm saying? This is the part y'all got to understand. It was never proven that he was the mastermind. It was never proven that he participated in it. So under the RICO law, they got him with the conspiracy because they said he was the head of an organized crime ring, which was the family, the Black Liberation Army, and things like that. And sentenced Mutulu to 60 years. But the key I want people to understand on why Mutulu got these 60 years, it wasn't even really about the appropriation. What they locked this man up for was the acupuncture. You see what I'm saying? The exposure of Big Pharma, the exposure of the Rockefeller laws. You see what I'm saying? This is something we gotta make sure when we tell Mutulu's story, we make sure we tell it this way. He was incarcerated and targeted and locked up because he fought Big Pharma.
Not about no damn funds.
Not no
They
funds.
had nothing about no funds.
Won't about no funds. Won't about no funds. He was a threat to Big Pharma and the pharmaceutical criminal acts on the citizens, if you want to call it, the citizens of America, man. This is why he got locked up. You see what I'm saying? This is why he was targeted. It wasn't about none of that other shit.
So just thinking and they thinking, what if he started teaching young people how to perform acupuncture? Just think about that. Just think about this. If I am trying to keep these people up under my thumb, and there's just one person who is teaching people how to get these people from up under my thumb, why don't I just get rid of him and then I can keep controlling all the rest of these people?
Exactly, because it's a terminology that George Jackson said, the great revolutionary George Jackson said. He said, if you cut off the head of the body will automatically die.
Yes, sir.
This is the same strategy that J. Edgar Hoover and the COINTELPRO used in their low-intensity warfare. Cut the head off the body would die. So this is why so many individuals, leaders,
Larry Hoover,
were
Jeff
disappearing.
Ford,
were disappearing
Tookie
off
Williams.
the streets. All of Larry Hoover, all of them. Cut the head off the body will die. And as you know, as we are alive today in 2023, you see that this same strategic way of cutting off letting the body die is working.
Yes,
Still
sir.
working to
Yes,
this
sir.
day. Because you got to remember, and this is something people got to realize, when they took Mutulu and all them individuals off the streets at that point in period of time, especially during the crack era, because you got to remember Mutulu was captured in the crack era. This 1986, this the Reagan era.
Right when it come in.
Crack killing everything. It won't even really be about heroin no more. Crack killing everybody, killing the whole black family, killing everybody. They knew once because y'all got to remember, man, the FBI and the CIA is the biggest sophisticated organizations on this planet. How to destroy something. You know what I'm saying? Destroy movements, destroy leaders, destroy anything. You know what I'm saying? This is warfare organization. Put it like that.
This is what they do.
This is what they do for a living. Especially when it comes to psychology. Because it's about the psyche too. Like these people got people that can see who's gonna become the next who, this and that.
It's not just about this.
No, the mind is the gun.
Yes, sir.
The mind is the gun. You can't shoot the gun without the mind. Your
Right.
mind is the biggest gun. You see what I'm saying? So, man, so when they did that, when they took these, they knew they had to take these leaders out the community. Because if they take the leaders out the black community, the community gonna die. The body, it's gonna die. Everybody gonna be against each other. Chaos. This community would never get right after what we about to do to them.
And
And plus,
we will create a leader for you.
we gonna create the leaders for you. You know what I'm saying? All this is part of strategic warfare, man. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about it. They took Mutulu out the community during the crack era. You see what I'm saying?
Gave you Al Sharpton.
And gave you Al Sharpton. Exactly. Because you
They
got to
took
remember,
Mutulu and gave you Al
Al
Sharpton,
Sharpton,
who is an informant for the FBI.
exactly, tried to set up Asada.
Yes. So we got it. I'm glad I said that, because a lot of people don't know that Al Sharpton wore a wire.
Yeah, because you can, and don't get me twisted. I got love and respect for Jesse Jackson too. I got a little admiration for Jesse Jackson, but you got to understand, they took Mutulu and all these individuals out of the community, but they gave you Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. Because you got to remember, these are the two biggest cats that come after Mutulu and them. Yeah, after Malcolm and them, because it's the 80s. We're in the 80s now. And so when they removed Mutulu, we was left with Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. And don't get me wrong, we still had our revolutionary leaders at that point in time, but they were recovering from being attacked by the Cartel Pro. So they didn't really have the big voices of Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and all them.
And just to keep it in perspective, a lot of those who were recovering from what we call divide and conquer tactics, right?
Bingo.
Where they will send letters to Jeff Ford and Lord Gino and get them fighting, or get the gangster disciples and the Black Peace Stones or the Young Lords fighting. Get them fighting amongst each other, or get the Bloods and the Crips fighting amongst each other.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is, so we got to understand that, like, yo, a lot of these, matter of fact, not a lot of them, but all of these street organizations that they call gangs, or who they have criminalized, they were there for protection of the community. You know what I mean? And after they took these leaders away, that's when they come in with the drugs. They come in with the other things that they were doing, and turned our community into what you see now.
Yes. That's why that's what you're seeing today. That's what's on display today.
That's what you see.
When people try to, when people look at Chicago, because we always got to use Chicago as the example and the base. You know what I'm saying? Even though we know every city across this country that's heavily populated by new African Black people is in shambles. You know what I'm saying? It's really infighting, killing each other every day. But we use Chicago as an example because Chicago is a big city. It's a big place, and it has one of the places of the largest gang culture on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Along with LA, but we use Chicago as an example. Chicago today, look at Chicago. That's from generational, you know what I'm saying? Low intensity warfare.
Low intensity warfare.
From
take the leaders away.
Take them out. Let them self-destruct. Let the body die.
Let them kill each other.
Let them kill each other. Because there's no more order. There's no more structure. There's no more leadership. Key word. I don't like to use that word too much, but there's no more leadership. You know what I'm saying? And when they did that, this is what we get today. You know what I'm saying? The 1980s, you move on into 1990s too. That was a crack era too.
Definitely.
You can't leave the 90s out. 80s to the 90s. Mutulu and them are gone. All these individuals are gone now. They trying to lead from behind the prison bars, which they did a great job of.
They did a great job.
What I'm saying? They did a hell of a. We got to salute them on that alone. You know what I'm saying? That they didn't give up. Yeah, I'm captured.
Still struggling.
You capture my body, but you ain't taking me away from the struggle. I don't care how many bars, wherever you send me off to, I'm still in the struggle. You see what I'm saying? And let me add on to that last little part. So with the appropriations and on how they set Mutulu up and targeted him, they also added on to that with the conspiracy. They incarcerated him also for the liberation of Sister Assata Shakur. You know what I'm saying? Those two things right there is why he was sent away. Because, snitches again, implemented him in the liberation of Sister Assata Shakur. So we give big thanks to Abba Mutulu for freeing us, allegedly again.
Allegedly.
We got to keep
Allegedly.
throwing that word in. They allegedly, him and Sekou Dingo, they allegedly
And our
freed,
brother Sekou.
yeah, they allegedly freed, liberated Assata. So that was one of the other reasons they took him off the streets also. The war against Big Pharma, the war against drugs, the war against the Rockefeller laws, and liberating Assata is why he did those 36 plus years.
Who
And
they
people got
still after? Who the police department, the New York Police Department, and the police fraternal organization is still after Assata Shakur.
Exactly.
Still to this day. So don't get it twisted just because you may see police out here double dutching with some little black kids. Don't think that these folks, man.
Low intensity warfare.
Low intensity warfare. Get you to lower your guard.
We gotta,
right after a police killing. We gotta popularize it and make it seem cool. But whole time, these are the slave catchers. These are slave catchers out to come and get you. They're not there to protect you. They're there to protect business, the corporations, and finance. They're not there for you.
That's it. They there to protect the property, the land, and the business. What they got, the business that runs America, because America is a business. It's a corporation. You know what I'm saying? They here, they employed to protect that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand what these, occupiers of our community are truly there to occupy our community for. They ain't there to help you, you know what I'm saying, at all. Because if they was there to help you, project buildings wouldn't exist. The projects wouldn't exist. Black people wouldn't be still in the projects. You know what I'm saying? If they was there to help you. No, crime is big business.
The projects that they created for the Irish, the Polish, and how they moved us, the immigrants, how they moved us into those projects. We had those houses and took the houses and took the land. Yes, sir.
Took them out. Because the Irish and most of them are not in those projects. They don't occupy those projects no more. All these immigrants that came over here in the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s, they don't live in, they don't live in projects no more. The black people still there. It's just like what Park said in one of his videos. They got a little China, a little Italy. We don't have a little Africa. They gave us the projects. Was left over.
Right.
That ain't ours, and that still ain't yours. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of crazy. But to dwindle down on Mutulu's story is that something that y'all also need to know. You know what I'm saying? Why we,
our brother Yusuf.
And I gotta make this to clarify a point so people can understand about, because this is going to political prisoners too. Man, I just want y'all to understand what happened to Mutulu was an injustice. It was wrong. It cost him his life, and it was a political murder. And what do I mean by political murder? What I mean by political murder is that he shouldn't have never been there in the first place. He shouldn't have never been incarcerated in the first place. Because what he did in that time period was deemed just. Because we was up against racism, discrimination, racist police terrorism, and things of this nature, attacks on our human rights, and things of that nature. Under truth and reconciliation, this is something else Mutulu was trying to create and trying to formulate, was truth and reconciliation. This is something that he saw that the South Africans was doing against the racist apartheid government. So he wanted to do it here in America with black organizations, was to create a truth and reconciliation committee and tribunal. And what he wanted to do with that tribunal was hold the United States government accountable for the drugs, the racism, the discrimination, the low intensity warfare on the movements, on all the movements, and why all these individuals are being incarcerated for political acts. So he did, because he wrote a paper about it. He was founding the Truth and Reconciliation for New Africans in America, black people in America, to form this tribunal to hold America accountable for political prisoners, for attacks on the black liberation movement, for attacks on revolutionaries who were only doing what was just from what the government was doing unjust to them and our people, which was criminal. You see what I'm saying? At that point in time. So I want people to understand this. Mutulu was supposed to be released in 2016.
Correct.
This is where I'm going into the political murder part. He was supposed to be released in 2016. Remind you, he didn't have cancer then. You see what I'm saying? When he was up for parole. When he was up for parole in 2016, he wasn't diagnosed with cancer. Yeah, he had a couple of strokes. Don't get it twisted. He did have some strokes. He had like 2 strokes at that point in time, by 2016. But he didn't have cancer. You see what I'm saying? This should automatically spark your brain. 2016, parole. His official release date is February 2016. They didn't have the legal right to hold him. They didn't have the legal right to have him in the first place because he was a new African. He's a political prisoner of the provisional government of the Republic of New Africa, who established themselves as a government. So under our government establishment, you can't hold him. And if you do hold him, he's now deemed a political prisoner or a prisoner of war. So we're going really political now. So 2016, you didn't have a legal right to hold another citizen under another government past his release date. You see what I'm saying? So FBI, intelligence, whoever you want to name, the government of New York City's government refused to release him in 2016. Criminal. Another criminal act on Mutulu. So by them holding him as his official release date, I ain't gonna put my comrade out there, but I know some deeper things I ain't gonna talk about on this live about Mutulu and how he caught cancer. All of a sudden, after 2006, he got cancer.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Right. Out the blue. Cancer. Refused to release him. What they did to our elder, our brother, medically neglect him and killed him in a slow death by not releasing him in 2016. Think about it. 2016, I'm not saying that he wouldn't have never got cancer, because we know people can get cancer all types of ways. You see what I'm saying? But the point y'all got to understand, he didn't have cancer in 2016. So if he's released, right, he can get back to the medicine, what we call the liberation medicine, the holistic medicine that a lot of us practice today. He can get back to what he knows how to doctor himself after the strokes. You see what I'm saying? So if Mutulu was free, I guarantee you he wouldn't have died the way he died. You see what I'm saying? Or this fast. He wouldn't have died this fast. So they murdered him. What else can you say?
So speak on the what time period he got released.
You say speak on the period of the time he was released?
Yeah, the time period when he was released.
Okay. When he got out.
When the board finally agreed to allow him to be free.
Right.
Physically.
Right. And this goes into why we say it's definitely a political murder, because the judge this man had the same racist judge on his case since he was captured. This same white old, and let me remind, this is an old judge. This is an old white New York judge, purely racist, and hated Mutulu because he every time Mutulu came up for parole, the only thing on his mind was connecting him to those murder of those 2 police officers of the appropriation. But this judge even knew, and this is the crazy thing about, he was a racist, right? This is how foul American white supremacy is. The judge, even though he was a racist, he actually agreed with Mutulu's lawyer and actually agreed with Mutulu that he was a victim of COINTELPRO. The judge said it. Yes, I recognize. Yes, he was a victim of COINTELPRO. But at the same time, he hated Mutulu so much and connected him to that police murder and appropriation that he refused to let him go. And and when it came time to his last parole, and right before his last parole, and even at his last parole, he said, I'm not gonna let him out here until I know he's gonna die.
Damn.
This is he sugarcoated, bro. Ain't even sugarcoated. He said, the only way you getting out here is when I feel comfortable, I know you're going to die.
Damn.
And that's when he released them. From the last push of everybody, the people, and we just want to give thanks to everybody. Thanks to everybody who shared the petitions, everybody who screamed Free Mutulu, everybody who was out there causing ruckus over these
Mutulu
last
can
couple
come
of years.
here.
Yeah, Mutulu is welcome here. I'm talking about everybody. I don't care who you are across the world. Man, I'm thanking you on behalf of Mutulu and them and the family and friends of Mutulu Shakur. Thank y'all, because it was y'all that got him out finally to enjoy those last 6 months of his life. Because I mean, at the end of the day, we already knew that he had a fighting chance to survive the cancer, but it was slim. And you know, he had the time frame of 6 to 7 months to live. You know what I'm saying? We knew this already. You know what I'm saying? But the whole point is, we wanted him to be around his family and friends so he can get that love he deserved, that honor he deserved, and to be comforted by his family in those last days and hours to be with him, which is a victory in itself. It's still a
Right.
victory.
It's still a
It's still
victory.
it's a victory because he got to enjoy his life a little bit outside those walls. You see what I'm saying? And
And
he
I think
thanked.
it's and I
Go
think
ahead.
it was really important too, because this new generation can now finally be introduced to
Yes.
who Mutulu was. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Had he not been released, I don't think it would have been as proper as now.
Facts.
Now, everybody's finna be talking about Mutulu,
Facts.
right? The ones that's not talking about Kiki Palmer and Usher,
Yeah,
of
the
course.
ones that,
Yeah,
exactly.
we ain't talking about that. But
Yeah.
so now books and documentaries and
Coming.
all of these things are now about to
About
come so that
to
these young
come.
people can see who Mutulu was
Yeah.
outside of just being Tupac
Stepdad.
stepfather. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or being connected
Because
to a Afeni Shakur.
because a lot of people just associate him with Tupac.
That's it. And that's the only thing
Yeah,
that they
that's
know.
it.
They don't know
That's the
anything
only reason
else.
they know.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And to be so when you mention his name, you have to mention the BLA. You have to
Yes.
mention, Asada Shakur.
Yeah.
You have to mention those freedom fighters
That don't nobody
because
really know.
that we're not that these young people have no
Yeah,
clue
because we're
who
talking
they
about the
are.
young generation
They,
now.
they
Yeah,
don't
we
have
talking about
a clue who these people are. So now that they can be introduced to the provisional governor of the Republic of New Africa. You know what I
There you
mean?
go.
Because when you speak on the Republic of New Africa, people look at you crazy like,
Yeah.
man, what you
Yeah.
talking about, man? We Americans. You know what I'm saying? And we are not, and we will not be American.
Exactly.
Um, so that just was my opinion on that. Like it really is a time period now. It looks bad, but I'm optimistic that this his life, his legacy. This is why I want to do this live, because I
Yes.
know there's a lot of people on my page who don't know who Mutulu
Yeah.
is outside of Tupac. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tupac mentioning him on a song. You know what I mean?
Right.
And don't have any perspective of who Dr. Mutulu is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Outside of just hearing his name on a rap. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
and I know I wouldn't have done the justice that you just done. So I had to bring you on. You know what I'm saying, to
No,
talk
I
about it.
feel you. No,
Because
I feel
I
you on that.
understand that you was gonna give it a little bit more insight of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just to put a correct narrative and a proper context on who he really was. You know what I'm saying? And like, and I gotta say this, man. This is why I love our people so much, is the fact that even the ones that don't know and unconscious and things of that nature, I've been seeing all the condolences and I've been seeing all the people saying rest in peace, this, that, and the third. Probably who don't even really know what he stood for, what he really did. You know what I'm saying? Or what really
All that's
happened to him.
important.
But it's important to see that love, and it's coming from a lot of young people that don't even know who he is for real. So I give thanks to them and all of them. But to put a proper context on it, now we can do that. In his death, it just gave us more fuel, more of a voice, more power. Because like our traditions say, and our traditions are who we are as African people, now his light is shining in death. You see what I'm saying? Which we really don't believe in, because we know death ain't the last stage.
No.
His spirit just moves somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? He just transformed. So he's not dead, Because look at us right now. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Look at me and you
Right.
and what we doing right now. This is Mutulu. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? This is his spirit. This live is his spirit. You see what I'm saying? Because we're talking about him. And now, like you just said, we're going to be talking about him more than ever now. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's going to be trying to figure out who this man is.
Right.
Once stuff started to come out, like you said, the books, documentaries, and more of the individuals who are historians on the movement and Mutulu's life going to start speaking about him and things of that nature. And even all the way down to the family. If they decide to do things, you know what I'm saying, to bring more light to his story, that's another plus added on
Right.
to it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, it's just, you know, let's continue to shine more light on his name, talk about his story, talk about what he was, which was a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like you said at the beginning, we gotta
Put some respect on his name, man.
Put some respect on his name.
Put some respect on his name.
You know what I'm saying? The first, like my shirt say, the first black acupuncturist to bring this into our communities. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, he has many manifestations of individuals who were doing the work while he was locked up, and they're still doing it right now. He got comrades that's still doing acupuncture. And I'm gonna tell you this, man, please learn about acupuncture and think about adding acupuncture to your daily life. Trust me, it will heal some of your ailments. It will heal, and it ain't even about the physical. It's about healing your spiritual. This is what acupuncture stands on. Like if you, exactly, the mental health. Try acupuncture for your mental health, your psychological health. You see what I'm saying? We already know what it's for physically, but it can help you far more reaching than that. And when you do that, you keep it Mutulu.
Keeping Mutulu alive. So, bro, I definitely appreciate you, but I cannot let you leave without speaking about Black August, because Black August is coming up. So we definitely want to tap in and speak about what Black August is, how it was created, and what is not. Because it's not what everybody keep trying to infuse it on. You know what I mean? It has absolutely nothing to do with that. So, if you will.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you said that, man, because going into Black August 2023, this is going to be a part of what we're trying to do as a people and as a movement when it comes to Black August, is telling the true context and the true narrative and what Black August is truly for. This is what we're trying to establish, because I believe it's the 44th commemoration of Black August this summer.
Yes.
The 44th. And I was talking to some other comrades the other day about this, and that's a part of the Black August committee and council of who puts it together and all that. This is something we're going to emphasize this Black August, because we starting to see it go on with the Juneteenth.
Too much.
Juneteenth been hijacked. That's
definitely.
That's a wrap.
It's over.
That's a wrap. The commercializers, the capitalists, they now own Juneteenth.
They done bought it already.
They done bought it already. As soon as Jim Crow Joe signed off on it, Juneteenth was done.
It's over.
It's over. Because you gotta understand, man, we didn't need him to do that. We didn't need Juneteenth to become a federal holiday, because it was people in the movement and organizations already celebrating Juneteenth, already teaching Juneteenth.
And so you didn't have to tell me to do it.
You have to tell me to do it. You see what I'm saying? The grassroots movements was already honoring and observing Juneteenth. If you was a person that was truly into your Africanness, you see what I'm saying? You ain't gotta tell me how to. This is the thing
Be
about
African.
This is the thing about real African people. We don't need nobody to tell us when to celebrate our shit. Because when you look
straight
around,
like that,
it's straight like that. Because when you look around the world, ain't nobody telling these other races, these other communities, these other ethnic groups how to celebrate their people, and their genocides and their, you know what I'm saying, way of how they do things traditionally. Don't tell us we African. We don't need you to tell us what to do. You know? So we putting a call out for this Black August. We letting all these commercial motherfuckers and all these capitalist motherfuckers, you are not hijack Black August. It's not happening. We don't want your money. You're not commercializing Black August.
You won't see a Black August t-shirt in Target.
No.
You won't see it in Walmart. You won't see it on the internet. No, you got to go to the events. You got to go into the grassroots. And you got to go get it then.
You got to come into the grassroots. Get out,
participate.
Get into your community, because I know it's somebody in your community that's teaching Black August.
Yes.
Because Black August has been taught for decades now in the Black community, in the grassroots. So you're gonna have to get up out of your house, go into the community, and celebrate, honor, commemorate with the grassroots, to get a T-shirt, to learn about Black August and to participate in Black August.
Right.
Because you do this in your own household. You ain't really got to go outside the household. As long as you put it in your household and implement it, teach it to the kids, teach it to your family members, teach it to your friends the proper way.
So saying teaching, I want you to go into what it was created for.
Yes,
what was centered around Black August.
Black August. Okay, I'm gonna be real swift and brief about what Black August is. Black August is a commemoration month. Let's just go ahead. It's not a month. It's not a holiday, y'all. This is not no holiday we made up. It's not a commercialized holiday that the white man controlled. This is something that our freedom fighters created, our people created. It's a month of commemoration of resistance. Well, I don't even want to put it like that. I'm gonna get to that part in a second. But Black August is a month of commemoration for those freedom fighters who chose to take the ultimate sacrifice, which was armed struggle, and those who died in the line of duty of armed struggle, the combatants of armed struggle, the freedom fighters of armed struggle who put their life on the line, who may have died or have been captured behind enemy lines for their political beliefs and their political struggle, their revolutionary struggles. This is what Black August is strictly for.
So it don't got nothing to do with Marcus Garvey.
No.
And we love Marcus Garvey. But I keep seeing people implementing Marcus Garvey into this. It has nothing to do with the Honorable Messiah Marcus Garvey. So please, if you see people doing it, man, please kindly inbox them or something and say, hey, man, this ain't got nothing to do. Just educate them. Hey, man, this ain't got nothing to do with Marcus Garvey.
You ain't got to argue with them or nothing.
Nothing.
Just educate them. Because let's get to the origin. The origin of Black August is, if you don't know who these individuals is, and I just got to throw them in there real quick, because a lot of people tend to leave them out. The Black Guerrilla family.
Yes, sir. The BGF.
BGF. And I'm not talking about the BGF people that done turned it into some kind of gang.
No, we ain't talking about that.
We're not talking about y'all. This has nothing to do with y'all.
No.
Out here corrupting the BGF, turning the BGF into some criminal organization.
We're not talking about that.
No. We talking about the BGF, the Black Guerrilla family that was founded in prison, behind prison walls, for the Black liberation struggle, the Black liberation movement. Because see, a lot of people tend to forget, just because you're incarcerated doesn't mean that the struggle is over.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
You're still struggling in behind the walls.
You still Black behind that wall. And you got to remember what period of time this was. This was the 1950s going into the 1960s. You know what I'm saying? Going into the 1970s. The prisons was the worstest, racist place to be ever for a Black man and a Black woman in this society at that point in time. So these brothers, George Jackson, don't know who George Jackson is, right?
Hold on, let me write George Jackson.
Yeah, put George Jackson's name in the comments. But I'm gonna go back before him, because it's two individuals that y'all really do need to get in tune with.
Rochelle McGee.
Before George Jackson, we got W.L. Nolan. Remember that name, W.L. Nolan. It was W.L. Nolan and two other brothers who were assassinated in the prison yards out in California when a racist fight broke out in the penitentiary at that point in time. This was like 1971. So that's show you how. Well, no, it was before that, like 1970. 1970. A racist fight broke out in the prison, and W.L. Nolan was one of the leaders of the Black Revolutionary Prison Movement at that point in time. Many people don't even know who he is, but he's significant. This brother was one of the first individuals to lead behind the prison walls and was a revolutionary freedom fighter behind the walls. He was a former criminal, gang member type thing, but he transformed himself. This is one of the first dudes that transformed himself behind them walls. And this is who George Jackson looked up to. You see what I'm saying? So he was assassinated by a racist-ass prison guard. Him and 2 other brothers were assassinated January 1970. And when those brothers were assassinated, George Jackson and them organized, got together and started to organize. And George Jackson was the individual who basically took W.L. Nolan's place. You see what I'm saying? At that point in time. And several things happened behind the prison walls, you know, in retaliation for what happened to the brother W.L. Nolan. Allegedly, we got to keep using allegedly. Allegedly, George Jackson and them killed the prison guard.
Allegedly
killed the prison guard. And when that happened, this is where the most famous case out in California came into existence, which was the Soledad brothers case.
I just typed it in the comments.
The Soledad brothers was put on trial for that case. And why these brothers was on trial, you know, or facing trial. This is one of the most courageous events.
Woo! We got to give him his proper. We got to give him his proper.
Courageous. This brother was
17. 17. We got to give him his props. Yes, the man child.
If y'all don't know who Jonathan Jackson is, write that name down.
Man, Jonathan Jackson.
Jonathan Jackson.
Yes.
What George Jackson deemed as the highest gorilla.
The highest gorilla. The most courageous.
The most courageous.
So, bro, I know we spoke about the youth today and why they're so attacked via the internet. They're being attacked via the rappers and this drug culture now. We be getting this drug culture put on these young people. It's a reason why. Because they don't want your son, your daughter, your nephew, your little cousin them. They don't know LaFo them. They don't want them to be the next Jonathan Jackson.
They don't.
And they know that they have the potential because these young people are not scared of anything.
They're not scared of nothing.
They're not scared of nothing. Jonathan Jackson was the most bravest young man that we've ever seen.
And to add on, to piggyback off of that, they don't want that type of mentality or that type of just fearless young energy transforming into something that's for political power for Black people. This is the point y'all got to get. They don't want the youth to be politicized.
Right.
Because now they got this fearless energy, this fearless, I don't give a fuck attitude, not scared or nothing, to transform and to become politicized.
They want your young people to be doped up with Future and all these other dope fiend rappers. They want them to continue. This is why they can continue to flourish.
This is why they promote it. And because this
is why they if you can see, they slowly but surely locking all of them up too.
You see it?
Or killing them. They either killing them or locking them up. Because they know the potential that they have. Because in the instant, if they change their minds and start politicizing their music, then these young people start listening to this politicized music. Oh shit! We got another Tupac on our hands. Kill him.
Hip hop is the most powerfulest tool on this planet, right? The world is ran off of hip hop, dog. I don't care what, especially when it comes to economics. Hip hop is ran. These white people hate your guts, but they using your culture and your music to promote their products
as a weapon against you.
And turn you into a consumer. But they hate you though.
Oh my God! And they got your rappers. We talk about these. I got a gold chain. I'm worth this. You got money phones. But boy, you getting a percentage of what you really worth.
Exactly.
But
you know what I'm saying?
To go further, bro. I don't want to keep the people so long.
To end it off. But yeah, Jonathan Jackson, on August 7th, 1971,
Oh no, 1970.
1970.
My bad. I get the 2 years confused sometimes. But August 7th, 1970, 17-year-old Jonathan Jackson, the younger brother of George Jackson, went into the Marin City county court, took some hostages, took the judge hostages. Rochelle McGee, a political prisoner,
still in prison right now. You can write him.
84 years old. We need to free him. We're going to make that an emphasis this Black August on freeing Rochelle McGee. But him and 2 other individuals, they kidnapped the judge and demanded that the Solidarity brothers be set free. And in that attempt of trying to free his brother George Jackson, Jonathan Jackson was assassinated with 2 of the other brothers. Rochelle McGee was incarcerated. And that was known as the Marin City Court Rebellion. That's a part of Black August also. But let me go back before him. I think, like right before him also. It's another individual that y'all gotta learn about, and what Black August is about too, is the brother that took up George Jackson gets assassinated.
Yes, in prison.
August 21st, 1971, a year later, he gets assassinated. What they call as an alleged escape. Allegedly. Because you got individuals who was there was saying that he wasn't trying to escape. They just flat out murdered him. Yeah, like they say he flat out murdered him. But either how you look at it, but that's an important date to remember as well. In August is the assassination of George Jackson on August 21st, 1971. And also the other brother, I can't even think of his name right now. But it was one more brother that took up the leadership after George Jackson was assassinated, which was one of his closest comrades as well. Him and other individuals would come together and create what you know today as Black August. He was assassinated as well. The other brother that I'm talking about, he got assassinated out on the football yard in the prison as well. I gotta get this brother now. I can't leave his name.
Rochelle McGee.
I can't leave his name out. And I don't know how I'm forgetting his name right there. But I can't leave him out. This is one ancestor I can't leave out.
Man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all for listening. You know what I mean?
Katari Golden.
Katari Golden. Oh, Katari, he got changed like a couple years ago. Not too long ago.
Say that again?
Yes.
Katari Golden.
Yes.
He was the brother that was also a close comrade of George Jackson, but he was killed, I do believe, like a year later after George Jackson. Well, a couple of years later after George Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like a couple of years. I think he got assassinated in 1979. On August 1st, 1979, Katari Golden got assassinated in the prison on the football yard. And he died from medical neglect as well. Because they didn't get him the proper medical treatment after what happened to him on the football yard. And he was the one that took on George Jackson's leadership after he was assassinated. So these individuals right here, y'all.
Hugo Pennell, yes, sir. Thank you, brother Yusuf.
Hugo Pennell as well, yeah. But the main individuals on why we commemorate Black August is because of W.L. Nolan, Katari Golden, George Jackson, Jonathan Jackson, and his 3 other brothers as well. Alvin Miller, Cleveland Edwards. Those are the main individuals.
I don't see this name.
It's like what we call 8 martyrs. We deem them as 8 martyrs. It's 8 martyrs is the reason for Black August. I'm gonna run their names down one more time. It's Jonathan and George Jackson, W.L. Nolan, Alvin Miller, Cleveland Edwards, William Christmas, Katari Golden. And they are the reason for Black August. And adding on to that, you know, the other real purpose of Black August
we commemorate the ones who have been assassinated. We memorialize them during Black August. Those individuals we name. But Black August is also specifically for the individuals who are political prisoners right now, or the political prisoners who died behind that, you know what I'm saying, behind the prison wall. Those are the individuals we commemorate. Now, all that other stuff that people add into Black August, like we know it was high intensity of resistance during Black August since slavery. So a lot of significant slave rebellions and resistant dates take
happen
place
in August.
In Black August. We're not knocking that. We're not knocking that. But we're just trying to let y'all know that's not why Black August was originated. That's not why it was created. Those specific dates happen to fall in Black August. Like some of these individuals' birthdays, like Marcus Garvey, Mutulu. All these individuals, their birthdays are in August, but that's not why we commemorate Black August. Black August is specifically for those individuals I named to you that were murdered and assassinated, and the political prisoners we still trying to free. And the political prisoners.
So say there's a person watching this live right now.
Yeah.
What could they do to help commemorate or help add on things like fasting, running, writing a political prisoner?
Most important.
I'm definitely going to share the list again. All August, I'm sharing the list all August, so you can stay in tune with them. They will write you back. You know what I mean?
Please.
And this, I gotta say this. Well, I'm not even gonna say it because it might sound like something else, but they will write you back. I've got letters from a lot of the political prisoners, but
they're gonna write you. But like I said, another most important part of Black August is what we call fast, study, train, fight. And what that composes of is what you just mentioned. During Black August, we fast on those days that those martyrs were killed. Like, say, for instance, when W.L. Nolan was killed on January 13th, 1970, we commemorate his death and those brothers' death with fasting on August 13th. Since that happened in January, we just happened to put it on August 13th to memorialize his assassination. But Katori Gordon, we commemorate him August 1st with fasting. Jonathan Jackson and them is August 7th. We fast on that date. George Jackson, August 21st. We fast on that date. This is many ways on how you can fast. Some individuals fast through the whole August every day. That's for the people who can do that. If you can pull that off, do it. And how they do it is some of those individuals fast 24 hours. But if you can't fast 24 hours, we just tell you simply to fast from sunup to sundown. Because that's more kind of easy to do. You know what I'm saying? Than the 24 hours. Because the 24-hour fast is a little bit for people who've been doing it.
Yes, sir.
So
something basic that you could do too is just fast from Facebook. Fast from falling into the foolishness and the arguing and the bickering and the sharing of dumb shit on fucking Facebook. That's something small that you can do. You know what I mean?
The smartest thing of it all is we asked you to fast from negative things. Abstain from negative things. Try not to drink alcohol August. Don't do no drugs. Don't smoke no cigarettes. Like small things. Small things.
Train your body.
Small things that's not conducive to your productivity or your health and things like that. We even tell people to fast from bad food. You know what I'm saying? Don't eat fast food during August. It's like an economic boycott fast. Don't get these capitalist fast food restaurants your money.
Don't go buy no Gucci and Louis and all of that bullshit.
Don't buy high fashion during August. You know what I'm saying? August
shop with black owned. You know what I'm
saying? Just get with the black owned shit. You know what I'm saying? Get with your folks. You know what I'm saying? And just everything black during Black August. You know what I'm saying? And abstain from negative stuff. Period. You know what I'm saying? And just read is something that you can do. Get with your kids. Read at least 30 minutes a day during Black August. Try to get in at least 30 minutes a day during the whole Black August, or however long you want to read. Just get into them books. Get some books that you love.
Man, Soul Dad Brothers should be on the top of that list.
But Soul Dad Brothers and Blood in My Eye by
Blood in My Eye
should be on your shelf. Exactly.
Go get them books.
Yeah, get them books. please. And also, the most important too, but not last, is get your training in. You know what I'm saying?
To wind up.
Exercise during the whole Black August. If you've been sitting around the whole year and been contemplating and have been down about your health, your weight, and things of that nature, Black August is the perfect time to get disciplined, because Black August is about disciplining your.
I think our family, our brother Kalanji, I think they're gonna do a 5K this year. I ain't for sure yet. Yeah, I think they do a 5K run.
Yeah, they should be doing that. Yeah, and we ask y'all to do that. If there's some kind of marathon or some kind of thing of that nature where you're running and jogging, dedicate
support.
You know what I'm saying? Because that'll go down as part of your training. You see what I'm saying? And things of that nature. So yeah, study, fast, study, train, and fight. And fighting is just fighting for our brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, in the community, and fighting for our brothers and sisters that's incarcerated, man. Put a spotlight on mass incarceration. Put a spotlight on our people being incarcerated at high levels and try to stop our people from going to prison is what we mean by fighting. And last but not least is what we say in the Malcolm X grassroots organization. Join an organization, a political organization, any type of grassroots organization, so you can help us help you and help the community.
Be clear on that, bro. Be clear on that, because let me keep it all the way buck, bro. Let's be clear on that.
Let me be very clear when I mean by organization. I'm talking about grassroots organizations, not these organizations who out here are opportunist organizations. I'm not talking about joining all these organizations who only want your money. They just want you to donate to them 24/7. I'm not telling you to get with people who always plastering themselves all over, you know, social media, talking about this messiah, this leader, that third. No, stay away from them.
Thank you, bro.
Get with a proper political organization, but a grassroots non-profit organization who's doing real revolutionary work, who's doing the programs, the plans, like feeding people, sheltering people, being practical. See, the key thing with Black August, we want people to be practical. It's not about the lip service no more. You know what I'm saying? Gotta be practical. Get with serious practical people, serious practical organizations, because there's many of them out there that's doing the right thing. So stay away from the wrong people and get with the right people. And trust me, these conditions in our community will be way more better than where it's at right now in 2023. So we're trying to do that with Black August as well.
Man, I appreciate you, brother, for that insight. I appreciate you, and I'm sure the listeners, those who tuned in now, who will tune in the future, would definitely be able to appreciate this, because there was no glitches in the internet service. I can't believe it either. I can't believe it.
Hey, bro, I was waiting for this.
Me too. Me too.
Especially when we started.
That's why I cut the music off, so they can't say, "Oh, y'all playing music." So you know what I'm saying? Why I cut it off? No, we need to get this out. You know what I mean?
Man, I thought it was gonna cut off when we started talking about that Big Pharma.
Right.
Because they don't like you talking about Big Pharma.
Right. Because they want our people hooked on some type of drug. They don't give a damn what it is. Yeah. You know. But we definitely appreciate you though, bro.
Yeah, before I get off, man, long live Dr. Mutulu Shakur, man.
Long live Dr. Mutulu Shakur.
Continue to walk with us, guide us, lead new African people. May he be the inspiration to spark the mind, the brain of our youth. May his work, his doctor work programs, spark the mind of these young individuals to not want to F with drugs and want to be the solution to the drug problem and the drug epidemic. Man, may his revolutionary shining guiding light live forever.
Bro, speaking of some of the books that we can read, man, let us see some of the books you got behind you, because I see Afeni, I see Che Guevara, I see Asada, you know.
This a little bit of something I got.
I know you got a deep library. I know you got a deep library.
I got a deep library. You know, I got a little.
I know you inspired me to grab a lot of the books that I got. So I know you got a deep library that our people can actually use. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not just for Black August, but you know. Yes, sir. Eldridge Cleveland, Soul on Ice.
This something that you definitely should read during Black August, because his transformation came in the prison walls. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Matter of fact, yeah. Like people like this is what you can read for Black August. Eldridge Clear, Soul on Ice. Malcolm X.
Malcolm X.
Transformation.
That was the very first book I ever read, and I read it in juvenile detention.
Yes. And the ultimate example of
yes, sir.
People who transform themselves behind the prison walls. Malcolm
yes,
X.
Sir. Yes, sir.
My brother.
My brother, Monster.
You know
yes, sir. I read that one in jail too.
Sayyeed Shakur. Read this for Black August. Transformation, man.
Yes.
Another good brother, my other brother, Yusef.
Brother Yusef in Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Yusef book. This book is about his transformation.
I ain't get that book.
Yeah.
Oh no, I gotta get that book from that brother.
It's called The Window to
He was just on this. He was just on this live, wasn't he? Wasn't that brother Yusef?
It might have been Bomani.
Oh,
I think that was Bomani.
Okay.
He might have stepped in here. But yeah, Yusef Shakur book, The Window to My Soul.
Okay. My
transformation from an A-zone thug to a father and freedom fighter.
Yeah.
Another
brother, fresh out of Detroit, man. That's a good brother too.
Yeah, that was in prison.
And he put in work.
What else I got? Asada.
Asada.
Yeah, you got it.
I read that when I was in prison.
Black August. Read
yes,
that
sir.
for Black August. What else I got? Oh yeah, I got one book I need you to see. Hold on.
Man, I'm telling y'all, this brother got so many books and so much information. Just being around brothers and that can lead you to something positive with your life is very important. I don't want to be around no brothers that's talking about what's going on with Usher and Kiki Palmer. I don't care about them folks.
These are two good books I definitely want people to get. This book right here, I didn't mention him.
James Carr.
But James Carr.
Yes, sir.
This is the brother that influenced George Jackson. This is George Jackson, like his first comrade when he got incarcerated. This was the brother that
was he part of the Black Gorilla family?
Some people say like the Black Gorilla family is the ones that claim him, because you got a lot of individuals out here trying to say he was a Panther. He wasn't a Black Panther. He was a Black Gorilla. You know what I'm saying? He part of the Black Gorilla family. But this brother right here, man, he was assassinated. You know what I'm saying? When he got out, because he had finally got released. But if you read this book right here by James Carr, man, it's going to open your eyes to everything about the prison system, George Jackson, all that. Like
screenshot these books. Yeah. Screenshot these books.
Man,
please.
This is an important read for Black August right here. I try to put a lot of people on the James Carr.
Make sure I grab that.
Like if y'all love George Jackson, you gotta love James Carr, man. I'm telling you, because there wouldn't be no George Jackson without James Carr. Straight up, you know what I'm saying? But last but not least, since we was on this topic of Mutulu, get this book called Drugs, Drugs Used as a Weapon Against Us by John L. Potash. He's one of the authors who made the book called Tupac Shakur and the War.
And the FBI. Yeah, okay.
FBI War.
That documentary is on YouTube too.
That documentary.
I'm definitely gonna share that.
But he stepped it up on this one right here. Okay. He went into what me and you've been talking about this whole life, that drug shit. You know what I'm saying? Man, you gotta put this in your library and to use it and to teach the youngsters on why they shouldn't be promoting that drug shit and doing them drugs and that fentanyl. They did this to our leaders, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because they got a lot of, like Huey, and I gotta say this before.
Man, speak on it, bro. Speak on it.
Because a lot of people don't like to talk about this shit.
Yes, sir.
And it's not to bash Huey. It's Huey fell victim to counterintelligence. You see what I'm saying? He fell victim to what Mutulu was preaching, low intensity warfare.
Yes, sir.
He became victim of drugs. You know what I'm saying? Cocaine.
But why did he become a victim? Some say it was a woman.
Some say it was a woman. That played a role. It definitely played a role. The woman, but we got to address the elephant in the room, why he really fell victim to the counterintelligence. Ego.
Yes, sir.
Ego.
Definitely.
He got swallowed up by the ego.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Because
definitely. I'm the big eye in this motherfucker.
I'm gonna put you like this. The Free Huey Newton movement is what fucked his ego up. Because the more the Free Huey movement got popular, the more he got famous.
famous because now he was the face of the movement. Because y'all got to remember that one time Huey was he's the face of the movement at that point in time, especially when he shot that cop in self-defense.
Yes, sir.
And when he got shot and when he went to prison, the way that campaign, that movement sparked up to try to get that brother out, and the day he stepped out those prison walls, the biggest star.
He was like a superstar. Yes,
superstar
sir.
of the movement. You know what I'm saying? And that's when Hoover knew he could get him. Oh, I got you now. I got you now. That because he knew that shit was going to swallow him.
Yes, sir.
That ego of being famous like that, he knew it was going to swallow him and sit them snitches right on in there. Whether it was a woman or a dude, whoever, he started hanging around the wrong people.
The wrong folks.
And they most likely they
and
were
kind of like he started changing his title and he started alienate other chapters. He started
a gangster.
Started dressing like a gangster and
a pimp.
You know.
You know what I'm saying?
So damn, Huey, what happened?
Huey. You know what I'm saying? But we know for a fact somebody was an agent.
Definitely had an agent around.
It was definitely
a few.
Yeah, it was an agent planted. You know what I'm saying? And this is a good book to learn about that right here. Drugs is a weapon used against us. Man, add that shit.
That's why just think about this. Why are they allowing these people to promote drug use, especially people who don't even use, Future don't even do drugs. Plies don't do drugs. But why are they promoting drug use amongst the youth?
Thank you. Why?
To get you and your people and your young people around you addicted to drugs.
That's what it's about.
Because if they get you addicted to drugs, you ain't thinking clearly with your mind. You're not thinking.
That to me, right? I'm glad you keep saying that because people got to understand drugs is their biggest weapon right now. Because a lot more people, and I hate to use this word, but a lot more people are woke now.
Yeah.
So
yes, sir.
So by so many people being woke, they attacking your youth. And they know the best way to attack your youth is through drugs.
Get them.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why this fentanyl and all this shit is popularized now. That's where it came. It's not a coincidence that fentanyl infiltrated the community.
Come on
it's not a coincidence.
Come on now.
Because now, this is how they're looking at it now. Fuck getting them hooked. I'm going to kill your ass now.
Wipe you out.
Because fentanyl wiping you out.
And I can blame it on this drug and not the person who put the fucking drug there in the first place.
Exactly.
Woo! Shit, boy. Because it's easy to fight something that you don't. It's not easy to fight something that you don't see. You don't see that unseen hand. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that unseen hand of the person who put them guns in Chicago.
Exactly.
Leave a crate of guns in Chicago miraculously. Leave a fucking gun of military style weapons in Chicago, and you don't believe. And you don't believe that the fucking government put that shit there? Come on,
nigga.
Now, you know we smarter than that.
You know we can't get no switches.
Come on, bro. We know we smarter than that though. We're not that dumb. We're not that dumb. We're not that dumb to believe that, you know what I'm saying? And they're not that smart. So family.
That's why I say going forward, in the memory of Mutulu Shakur, we're gonna popularize low intensity warfare.
Yes, sir. We have to.
Bob is the one that introduced this to all of us. He put that in our vision. Low intensity warfare. A lot of people still don't even know what that is. But we're gonna popularize low intensity warfare.
Definitely. But man, I know the people been here, and a lot of people been here since the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've been on here for a minute. And we definitely appreciate those who came in and left and came in and left.
Yeah.
We definitely appreciate you for if you just stayed for 20 seconds and you heard something that might influence your thinking or help you to navigate. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We thank you. You know what I mean? I thank you, brother. You know what I'm saying? You could have been doing anything else. So I thank you for tapping in. You know what I'm saying? Because
I thank you specifically to even want to, you know what I'm saying, put a shining light on Mutulu because we know what time it is. Me, you know what time it is. This elder deserves his light. You know what I'm saying? Because we know many people don't know who he is.
Right.
But I thank you for even making this a topic because I know many people gonna start, making conversations about him. But I'm glad you sparked it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. So it's not me, bro, and I thank you for that. But I just seen that our people were more concerned with, and my sister Kiki and Usher, they are our people, family. I want to say it in that light. They are our people, but at the same time, they're not gonna free us.
No.
So I want to keep entertainment where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
In the entertainment realm.
Yeah.
But the struggle outweighs entertainment, family.
The
struggle outweighs entertainment. And Malcolm said, you don't see them creating other races, creating entertainers as leaders.
Right.
Family, we don't look at them as our leaders.
No.
We look at those who actually have a track record of struggle. Track record of struggle, active struggling, or active participation in the struggle.
Keyword.
Participation. Yeah. We look at those people, I want to say leaders, but I will say guides to help guide us and help navigate us through. You know what I'm saying? Because
I like that.
This is an ever evolving war, because like you said, low intensity warfare. A lot of us don't even know what it is. If you mention it right now, people are gonna come up and say all types of shit that it probably ain't even got nothing to do with.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? So these people like Dr. Mutulu Shakur, even our sister Asada Shakur, or Sekou Odinga, you know, Hugo Pernell,
Sunday Kweli.
Yeah, Kweli.
Came home.
Yes, sir. He just came home. Salute. You know what I mean? Man, the list goes on and on.
There's a list, man.
There's a list. The list. I wonder, do we understand speak on what a political prisoner is, bro? I can't let you leave without even talking about what a political prisoner is. Because just because you see a brother committing a so-called criminal act, don't make him a criminal.
Man, I'm glad you said that, because that's a quote that my brother Sayyeed Malik always puts in one of his songs when he rapping.
Man, shout out to my brother Sayyeed Malik.
Shout out to Sayyeed Malik. That's my brother, man. Like, and I learned this from him, man. Like he said, man, just because you do the crime don't make you a criminal.
Don't make you
a criminal, bro. When Sayyeed put me on to that job, I was like, whoa, that's powerful. He said, just because you do the crime don't make you criminal. And so we got to understand, we have to control the narrative on what a criminal is.
True.
You see what I'm saying? And who's not a criminal and who is a criminal. You see what I'm saying?
Because your enemy will turn themselves into the revolutionary and turn the real revolutionaries into the criminals. Yes, sir.
Exactly. So what a political prisoner is basically, because it's two terminologies that we got to understand. There's a political prisoner and there's a prisoner
of war. Yes, sir.
So a political prisoner is an individual who's been politicized and who has been captured for political activities. Simple math, simple terminology, simple meaning. A person that's not into they not out here shooting, robbing, stealing, and all these things that they quote unquote the criminal justice system will lock you up for committing crimes and shit like that. No, these specific individuals were targeted solely because of their political activity.
Because they're thinking.
Political beliefs and their political, you know what I'm saying, work. You know what I mean? That's a political prisoner. A prisoner of war, or we call them political prisoners of war, are individuals who are solely, you know what I'm saying, who committed a political act in an armed way or participated in an armed struggle. That's a political prisoner of war. You see what I'm saying?
So what would we call someone who was outmaneuvered by oppression? Like, say I'm coming up and I decide to sell crack and I get caught.
Yes.
What am I?
Say that one more time.
Say I decided to sell crack,
right,
and I want the money from the crack dealing to help feed my family because of my oppression, because of the I can't get a job. There's no economic stability in my neighborhood, and so I deem crack as the only way necessary for me to feed my family. What am I?
Man, I'm gonna go ahead and just use the term that I learned from Baba Geronimo Pratt. This is what Geronimo Pratt believed. I'm gonna just go ahead and use him as them. This is what Geronimo.
Uplift that elder Geronimo Pratt.
Uplift the elder Geronimo Pratt Jaga. What he told us was that he believed the moment the first Africans who were brought on them ships and was brought onto the shore, and every individual who was born on this landmass from those descendants that were brought here all the way to modern time, he deemed any black person who in this country get captured by this government's police department is indeed a political prisoner. I'm just using his terminology. You see what I'm saying?
Because that act was a political act.
Bingo.
Of war.
And what you just said,
whether you was participating or not.
But what you said, what was it caused by?
Oppression. And oppression, and we understand that people do things out of oppression, out of survival. So if I'm trying to survive oppression, Bingo. Anything that I do and I get captured by the slave catchers,
right,
I am a political
Bingo.
Prisoner.
And that's what Geronimo Pratt was telling all of us. You know what I'm saying? And to even throw it in there a little bit more on that. I mean, if you're an individual, you can also call them a person who sold drugs and he was captured and he was doing it out of oppression and things of that nature and he get captured. I mean, you can use it for a term when you dealing with white folk. You can say he was a victim of criminality. You know what I'm saying? A victim of criminalization. But also, if this individual if he or her gets incarcerated for doing what you just described, and they continue to, say for instance, they get behind the wall, and if they get behind the wall and they choose to go the righteous path, they choose to go the other way, and they politicize themselves, we call those people politicized political prisoners. The individuals who got politicized behind the wall. See, we got political prisoners in California who've been doing this work since the day they stepped in the Cali penitentiaries. You know what I'm saying? And they wasn't even politicized before they were captured. But when they got in the penitentiary, they became politicized, and they are now politicized political prisoners.
Okay, what my brother Yusuf Bey said, he says, when Huey, hold on, let me go back. When the party moved Huey into the penthouse, the FBI moved into the apartment next door to his.
That's what it was.
It was discovered they used MLK Ultra techniques. Boy, that shit is not no game, family.
That's what it was.
MK Ultra techniques on the walls to radiate low intensity warfare on him.
Yes.
This is one of the 600 measures they attempted to assassinate Fidel Castro with before impacting him with cancer. They got Huey's mind. Many suggest that they began when that imprisoned him in Vacaville, which indentured in behavior modification. Family. Man, these people.
Yes, I'm glad.
Thank you, brother, for that. Thank you.
Shout out to Yusuf Bey, man. That's the elder Black Panther from Baltimore, or the Baltimore Black Panther Party.
Thank you, brother.
Man, I'm glad he mentioned indentured in behavior modification.
Thank you, brother.
That's what I was talking about earlier when I was telling y'all about how the FBI and the CIA are the highest development of psychological warfare. Like they have a specific department in the FBI that these agents only modify and observe people's behavior. So they know, see, look, bro. So they know when an individual is going to become a revolutionary.
Or
so
not.
They got to kill him. Yeah, or potential. You know what I'm saying? But what J. Edgar Hoover said, potential messiah.
Yes, sir.
Remember what Hoover said?
Yes, sir.
They was going to be potential messiahs. So we got to cut.
And what is a messiah's job?
Oh, man.
Save, raise the consciousness of his people.
I like to say raise the consciousness. Because a lot of people, we know we kind of a little far removed from the Bible and shit like that because of our conscious development. But if you're a revolutionary, you can even use the Jesus story.
Yes, sir.
In a revolutionary way, though. You can teach it in a revolutionary way. Like, yeah, Jesus, if he did exist, was a Messiah. Because what he do? He raised
the consciousness
of the people. You know what I'm saying? So that's why many people, you know what I'm saying?
Why he had to be assassinated. Why he had to be put on the cross.
That's why many people like Reverend, y'all might not know who this is, but Reverend Albert Cleage, a comrade of Malcolm X, who was the most radical Christian to ever come in the movement, Albert Cleage out of Detroit. This is why he chose Christianity as a tool, but he didn't teach the Christianity that y'all brainwashed by. He teached it in a black nationalist revolutionary way. Like, no, messiahs were here to raise the conscience. They were revolutionaries. That's how he deemed them. He deemed messiahs as revolutionaries because they did what? They raised the consciousness of their people. You see what I'm saying? Whether you talking about Muhammad, Buddha, I don't give a fuck who you talking. What do all of them have in common? Raising the consciousness of the people. You ain't gotta follow the nonsense. You ain't gotta follow the indoctrination. You know what I'm saying? That the white folks took and turned it into a tool against us. No, take what their stories are really talking about and use it in the revolutionary teachings. You see what I'm saying? Because we all know it was about raising the consciousness. You know what I'm saying? That's all it was about. Right.
Man, I think our brother Baba Yusuf Bey.
Yes.
Yeah, we thank you, brother, for even participating and being here. You know, man, bro, I know we can talk forever. We can go on and on and on.
Man,
we can go on and on and on.
We're gonna do it again.
But I'm glad we was able to get out some key points. You know what I'm saying? Get some things understood and get some things kind of like centered. You know? But I definitely don't want to keep the people. You know what I'm saying? I definitely don't want to keep you. You know what I'm saying? You know, we got to break the shit down for our folks. We can't be no long drawn out. You know, our people attention span. You know, but brother, any last remarks you got? You know what I'm saying? We want to definitely.
Closing. Just in closing, man. Like I said, I appreciate you bringing me on the platform, and like I said, long live Dr. Mutulu Shakur. Y'all study his work on the truth and reconciliation, and what that's about. Study his acupuncture work. Study Dr. Mutulu Shakur, man, and continue to uplift his name, keep his name alive. And shout out to the Shakur tribe. Shout out to the family. Condolences. Man, just follow me on all my platforms. I'm on IG, Twitter. You know what I'm saying? My website is newafrican7070.wordpress.com.
Bro, type that in there. Man, please type that in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in there right now. I got a lot of stuff about Dr. Mutulu on my website.
This brother, hold on. This brother got a lot of everything.
Everything, man.
From African spirituality to man, I remember the live that you did about reparations and the one that you did about the slave revolts. You know what I mean? About man, there's so much information that this brother has put out for us. You know what I mean? The brother, man, listen, when I first started to kind of raise my vibrations, I was Googling and I came across him. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know who the brother was. I came across some of his information on WordPress, you know what I mean? And I was like, damn, man, this brother here, man. And I got to going deep into the rabbit hole and I couldn't get out of it. You know what I'm saying? I got stuck.
That's why
I got stuck in there.
That's why I made the website for it. I was like, everything I come across, I'm gonna just put it and compile it on this website and just let people go down the rabbit hole, man. That's why I made that WordPress.
The elder says Reverend Albert Cleage Jr., author of On Black Christianity, Nationalism, the Church of the Black Messiah founder. Yes, sir. Black Love founder. Yeah. Definitely got to grab that book.
Straight fire.
Definitely got to grab that.
This brother was a radical Christian preacher, man, but he was on some Nat Turner shit. Facts.
Word.
I mean, Malcolm loved him. Malcolm loved Reverend Cleage, man.
Because what Malcolm say, man, no matter what you is, just be nationalist in it.
Bingo.
Just be a nationalist. You want to be a Christian, be a nationalist Christian, man. Your God and your angels and everything that represents your religion should look like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything should look like you.
Everything.
But Man, there's anything else, bro?
That's it. That's it for me.
That's it. Okay, well, man, I definitely enjoyed you, bro. I definitely appreciate you for tapping in. We definitely got to do this again, bro.
Yeah, man.
we definitely got, we
It's
definitely
not,
got to do it again,
man,
bro. We definitely got to do it.
it's powerful.
Maybe we can do one in during Black August.
About to say,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Black
maybe we can do
August
one during Black August on one of the days that we're fasting.
Yes.
On one of the days that we're fasting,
we
can do one.
We can touch a little bit more about that fasting. You know what I
yes,
mean?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
Anyway, bro, man, if there's nothing else that you would like to tap on, you know,
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, yeah. But thank you again, family, for tuning in. Thank you for those who, man, long live the spirit of Dr. Mutulu Shakur, our elder who has transitioned. Man, straight ahead, forward thinking. You know what I'm saying? Backwards never. Stay dangerous.
Yes.
Man, keep the energy alive, keep the spirit alive. You know, he is not gone. He gonna live through us. You know what I mean? He's gonna live through us because we're gonna continue to speak his name, lift his name, you know what I mean, and do work in his name. Yes. So man, with that being said,
free the land.
Man, free the land.